The hell kind of clown are you?
The crying on the inside kind, I guess.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is
Morning Somewhere!
for June 19th, 2026. My name is Bernie Burns, sitting right over there. She's jealous I get my own day this weekend. It's Ashley Burns. Hey, Ashley.
Not just a day, Bernie. So Father's Day is this Sunday, the 21st, which also happens to be summer solstice, the longest day of the year. So we have the longest day possible to celebrate Dad, unless you're in the Southern Hemisphere, and then I guess, Dad, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you get nothing.
You got the shortest day of the year.
But we don't know that Father's Day is the same day there. All I'm saying is that we planned it right here. Look at this. Father's Day is the day that the most light is granted to the world in the year.
That means it's a maximum time for grilling and barbecuing, which is like the way that we spend Father's Day.
Amen, sister. Amen. I love it. Also, they could have been a little bit better planning, though, which would have been great, is if the Scotland-Morocco game was on Father's Day. That'd be great.
Right, but it kind of ends up in a good place for you, at least, in that the Scotland-Morocco game is tonight, and it's at 11 p.m. So
11 p.m. our time.
Yes, our time. So the last time you would have had to stay up until 2 a.m. for the game to even start.
Correct.
11 p.m. as a start time. That's late, like you're going to be like having like a late little party night there, staying all the way up until midnight and stuff. But it's not as bad as having to wake up at 2 a.m. for the game.
If we get a draw tonight, we're pretty much a lock. And look how
We're
European
advancing, right?
I have become. I'm now like hoping for a tie. The least American thing to hope for. A tie.
Well, no, that's the bare minimum you're hoping for. What you'd really love is the victory, but you'll take the tie.
Right. I'm kind of like the peace deal in Iran. It's like, going for the tie, I guess. Whatever the fuck they're doing over there.
Let's just call it good.
A quick political aside. If you're like anti-Trump, and in my general perusal of the internet, there's quite a few of you out there, right?
Right.
A lot of people are paying attention to this reflection pool, whatever the current thing is.
Yeah, that there's algae in the reflecting
100% you should be paying attention to this Iran peace deal because it is fracturing the conservative party.
Why?
People are turning on each other. You want the conspiracy theory version of it or the analytical version
Give me both.
Analytical version is people don't understand it. Why is Iran getting $300 billion when Americans have died, and what the hell is this for, and why are we returning to basically what we had before? Or maybe not even, because now there's even speculation that Iran will be charging tolls to ships that are going through the Strait of Hormuz, which wasn't even a thing before.
Wait, we're getting a subscription service to the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, we now have they're moving to subscription services like seat warmers and stuff. The conspiracy side of this is that Israel doesn't like the deal. And what is being revealed here is just how much of the conservative media is really the pro-Israeli media in the U.S. And now suddenly all the talking points, all the platforms that usually are extremely pro-Trump are suddenly making fun of Trump or making fun of this deal. And where is that coming from? That's the conspiracy side.
I see. Well, we already know that Israel is not a fan of the deal. In fact, the deal that was scheduled to be signed today is, I believe, last I read, it's been delayed because of extreme bombing in Lebanon on the part of Israel, who's been very vocal that they don't like this deal. They don't feel like they are tied to this deal in any way. So it's not a surprise that Israel's not on board.
And look at if you leave it up to the most of the people in the world, look what we're doing. We're having this big celebration for the World Cup, and everyone is coming together. And it's all great vibes and everything. That's most of the people in the world, I feel like.
Dude, speaking, Bernie, of the good vibes. So one of the teams that's in Scotland's group is Brazil, right? And this is one of the ones that I at least am keeping an eye on because Brazil's a very football forward nation, right? And
football forward. Yeah,
it is.
They are football forward in Brazil. They're very soccer presenting.
They're very, it's very soccer coded nation. Right?
Correct. Yes.
And so Brazil is going to be playing in Philadelphia where the Rocky statue is. Okay.
Right.
And this statue is cursed.
For clarity here, you're talking about the Rocky Balboa statue, not the Rocky from Project Hail Mary statue. There is no Rocky. Correct? Is that right?
Well, not that I know of, although maybe we should get on with that. Maybe we should build one. That'd be a great addition. But no, I believe this is, so it's Rocky Balboa, and it's at the foot of this, the steps of this museum. Bernie, with your hand up, please
Well,
go ahead.
Quick aside here. So one of the things that's been announced in the last day, I believe, is that Dungeon Crawler Carl has now got the green light at Peacock, which is the NBC streaming platform, that is going forward as a series.
Yes, they made that announcement. So it's so Seth MacFarlane's Fuzzy Door is one of the main companies working on it. The author Matt Dinniman is involved. So they have announced that it is moving forward. I think it had already been optioned, but this is a sign that it's moving forward a series at Peacock, which is very exciting for a lot of fans.
It will at least have a pilot.
Yes, and I'm excited for it, but I'm also tempering that excitement because my understanding is this is intended to be a live action series. And in my head, I always picture it as an animated series just because the stuff that happens in the series is so bonkers. It would have to be the world's most expensive series to pull off in live action because it'll mostly be CGI. Bernie, with your hand up.
You are setting up my question to you almost perfectly.
Okay,
here.
well, wonderful. I'm so glad to help.
May I make the assumption here that of the two of us in this household, you are the bigger Seth MacFarlane live action series fan because you watch Orville.
Yeah, because I like Orville. Is Ted him? I didn't watch the Ted series, but yes, I like the Orville very much.
But Orville would be, I think, a good comparison to this because a lot of people say that they want Dungeon Crawler Carl to be animated. I think we can all imagine it being animated, right? If they can pull it off live action, it would be enormously cool.
If they can pull it off in live action, it would be incredible. I just think that that's a very ambitious goal for a television series.
So knowing what you know about the source material from the books of Dungeon Crawler Carl, also combining that with your knowledge of a live action CG heavy series produced by Seth MacFarlane and his production company Fuzzy Door, Orville, would you be satisfied? If Dungeon Crawler Carl was of the visual fidelity of Orville as a live action series, you have the floor.
Yes, to a degree. At the very least, the first few floors of the dungeon, which just to set up the dungeon, the first couple levels are very basic. It's a subterranean dungeon, it's tunnels, right? Which is interesting because I know in my head that it's tunnels, but when I picture it, my brain refuses to draw the ceiling. It just goes up sort of into like black nothing. But because it's
like the Venetian in Las Vegas.
But because it's tunnels, that means interior sets, which makes it that much easier to compare to something like the Orville, which has a lot of interior sets in a spaceship, right? So that does seem where it's more contained would be easier to pull off, especially in a constrained budget. In some of the later floors of the dungeon where it's more like wide open spaces, that would be more challenging, I think.
Okay.
And where the like really crazy big stuff starts happening.
So first season, though, let's assume that's the first book. Would you be satisfied if it was the level of visual fidelity that Orville is?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And, like I said, either way, I'm looking forward to it. I just, I want to temper my expectations for, what is in my head versus what can be.
Let me unwind this tangent now then. Animated characters came from Rocky and Project Hail Mary.
Okay.
Back to Rocky Balboa. Go ahead.
Okay, so Rocky Balboa, statue in Philadelphia. Now, the statue carries a curse. I don't know where the curse came from. I don't know, who upset, who did Rocky upset to get this curse. But
What curse?
So there's a curse where if sports fans put their team's kit on this statue of Rocky Balboa, their team loses, right? And this was evidenced most recently in Ecuador's match. A bunch of fans from the Ecuador World Cup team put their team's kit all over Rocky. Bernie, with your hand up.
Translation for American English speakers, kit means uniform.
Yes, their uniform. So they dressed Rocky up in Ecuadorian team kit. And then Amad Diallo scored in the 90th minute to take the Ivory Coast to a 1-0 victory over Ecuador, right? So right now that curse is in full
curse
effect.
right there, pal.
And the fans are taking it very seriously. Brazil fans have so far kept everything away from this Rocky Balboa statue. They've set up people around in all the corners to guard it, to make sure no one puts stuff on it.
Sounds very Brazilian.
But Now,
That's exactly what I would expect from a country that's giving soccer. That's what I would expect.
they're really, just giving football vibes. So this comes, my question now comes in two parts. One, does a traffic cone count as Scotland kit? I don't know. If you're not if you're not familiar with Scottish tradition, for some reason, putting traffic cones on statues is one of the greats, right? And this happens all the time in like Edinburgh and Glasgow. There are statues that permanently have traffic cones on them. Bostonians have already learned this the hard way. I don't know if
They love it.
Scotland fans like brought traffic cones with them in their checked luggage so that they would have room for ranch dressing on the way back. But somehow all the statues, like statues sitting on a bench in the park, it's got a traffic cone on it. All the statues they can find have traffic cones. Now, if someone put a traffic cone on the statue of Rocky Balboa, would that count as a Scottish kit?
I don't think
would
that's
that curse the
official. No,
Scots?
that's like kit adjacent, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what I would say.
Okay.
This is a very Scottish thing. Instead of putting the traffic cone on it, I would expect the Scots to go climb the statue and put a Brazilian uniform
That's
on
the
it.
other question is, can we weaponize the curse, right? Can you take advantage of it by dressing
Can the Scottish
Rocky
people
up?
weaponize a curse? History says yes.
Can you dress Rocky in your opposing team's colors or kit and therefore like take advantage of the curse and win the game?
Yeah, why not try?
Maybe that's why the Brazilian fans have like set up guards, is so that an anti-fan can't do that to them.
I love it. You should absolutely give it a try. You know what I think about that traffic cone tradition in Scotland? Without a doubt, somebody did that first. Somebody.
Yes.
And that person can't convince anyone that they
were the first one who did it.
They can. They're in the corner of the pub every time, mad as hell, that they can't convince anybody. I was the first person to put a traffic cone on a statue's head.
I just want to know how the Scots are so resourceful. Like, where are you going finding a bunch? I was going to say, where do you go find a bunch of traffic cones? But I guess in a city, it's not that hard, right?
Right.
They're all over the place.
No, yeah, you can always find a traffic cone somewhere. Certainly in Philadelphia or Boston, you're gonna be able to find a traffic cone.
Find a traffic cone.
So we briefly mentioned the Strait of Hormuz. I want to play a voicemail here. We found an expert. This is actually the epitome of our curse here at the podcast. An expert in everything. We had a voicemail from someone who is an expert in demining the Strait of Hormuz because we had questions about how that would possibly work. But I'm going to play this voicemail. I'm going to say up front, it's a longer voicemail. It's over 2 minutes. So if it gets a little choppy in here, it's because I'm going to edit it. And then I have a solution I'm going to present after we play this voicemail.
I was a guy who used to work on demining things. I helped develop sonar systems, weirdly enough, out of UT Austin, the J.J. Pickle campus. You have to understand, there's different types of mines. There's the cool mines you think of World War II that sort of sit under the surface. Things hit them, they explode. That's true for most mines, except you also have very cheap mines that terrorists tend to put on top of the water. They're just barrels, and people just run over them, ships, whatever. Very hard to detect, especially on the surface of the water. Now, the ones underneath the water are a lot easier because they're usually anchored in place. And you can just use sonar systems. Now, the last type of mine you have is one that actually sits on the bottom of the channel or bottom of wherever you put it, and it's pressure activated. So a boat or submarine goes over it, and it launches basically a missile straight up. And that's another mine that's really hard to detect because they're usually covered in silt and things like that. So the demining operation is actually way more complex than you think it would be.
So this sent me down a bit of a rabbit hole in two ways. First of all, I was looking up different mines that are used in naval warfare, and he basically touched on all of them, which was there's ones that are moored. That's one we typically think of. There's surface ones. The moored ones they have like an anchor at the bottom and a chain like holding it in place at a certain depth.
Is that like the ones in Finding Nemo?
Yes, that would be like the ones in Finding Nemo. And then there's the ground ones, which actually sit on the ground on the bottom. So yeah, so that would be really hard to find one of those, I would imagine.
Because they'd be hiding.
But I have a new solution for the voicemails because we use Google Voice for the phone number. And I just think that the audio quality of it's not great for the podcast. Also, people are not in control of when it records and when it stops when they call in. And we end up with like some voicemails are like 5 minutes long. And it's just like, I can't It's a 20-minute podcast. I can't put 5-minute voicemail on. So here's what we're going to do. I have a new email address that you can send voice notes to. So if like on your iPhone, if you go to voice memos, you can record it yourself. It'll be higher quality. And then you can send it to voicemail or voicemails at roosterteeth.com. You can just do that by hitting share on your iPhone and share it to your email client and send it to us through that.
And if you're on Android, I'm going to assume that you've had this feature for like 10 years anyway, and it's way better.
Right. We don't even explain it to you guys.
You've already got the email address programmed in.
Yeah, you're very technology forward in your Android usage. So I don't even know how to take it. Basically, just send a voicemail, to send an audio clip to voicemail at roosterteeth.com. And that's what we use going forward. You can still use the phone number if you want to, but people all the time get put off by the beep and everything, and they call back and do a re-record, and I have to listen to those as well. It's probably better if we just leave that in your hands. So voicemail at roosterteeth.com.
You're in full control. 30 to 45 seconds. Bam.
And thank you. Now we have to find a deeper level of expert than someone who can demine
the Strait of Hormuz.
Strait of Hormuz. We had a lot of Hyundai mechanics calling in telling us not to buy a Hyundai. But I think that's because they work on Hyundais and they're like, they probably see all the problems.
Yeah, that's the trick, right? It's like if you're a Hyundai mechanic, you see the broken Hyundais. That's just the way that goes.
Can I ask you a question?
You may.
Like, when I was younger, I had shitty cars, and the bane of my existence was these warning lights on the dashboard, like your engine light or transmission or temperature or whatever. I would live in fear of those things, and they would cause me enormous stress. So later in life, when I could get my own car and maintain my own car, I made sure I never had any of those lights on ever. I haven't had a light on my dashboard in probably 2 decades at this point. We have 3 cars here. We have your car, we have my car, and we have a little Polaris, which is like a little UTV. You probably have seen it in some of my Instagram stories and things like that. The engine light is on in all 3 of those fucking cars.
All 3 of them.
And we cannot get them to get these engine lights to turn off.
Okay, theory. Someone took, your star hat that you wear all the time. Someone took that hat and put it on the statue of Rocky.
My theory is
you've been cursed.
That in Scotland, the engine light is an indicator that you have an engine. It's like a convenience. So you don't have we don't have to check if we have an engine in our car.
The engine light is on. That's how you know that it has one.
Convenient light that tells us. And we even called, like, one of the cars is a Volvo. We called Volvo and we said, what the hell? Why can we not get this engine light to turn off? And they asked us, I go, is it red or is it amber? We said, it's amber. And they said, oh, well, then just clear it. That's fine. Getting in the car now is like one of my steps in starting the car is clearing out all the indications of like this engine light is on, turns off. What the fuck is going on?
Dude, and part of the problem too is that let's say the engine light comes on. We immediately call Volvo and say, I need to get the car in so that it can be fixed. They say, well, we have a diagnosis appointment in 4 weeks, so we'll get you in 4 weeks. And we go, can we still drive on the car? And they go, is it amber? Yes, sure. Go ahead and just drive on the car. I'm sure it's fine. So then 4 weeks later, we take the car in for a diagnosis, and they'll say, all right, we figured out what's wrong with the car, and we can get it in for repair in 4 to 6 weeks. So then it's like a minimum another month that we're waiting before the car can actually be fixed. So I have a new working theory that the mechanics here in Northern Scotland are working off the tinker tradition, right? Where there's one expert that's traveling around the country. And so they'll just schedule you in when the tinker is going to be in town to fix the car.
The killer is this Polaris, because this was the last holdout. Now its engine light is on. The reason why its engine light is on now is because a little wrench came up on it, little normal indicator saying, hey, it's time for your regular maintenance. So I called the tractor company, and they have a mobile service that comes around because it's not street legal to drive it there. They came out and did the work on it on Monday. On Tuesday, after maintenance, the engine light was on. I was like, God damn it. God damn it.
I'm telling you, blame Rocky.
But at least I know I have an engine, right? That's the indication. There's an
engine. If there's something wrong with the engine, that's proof that you have an engine. Congratulations.
Yeah. No engine light means absence of engine. That's why your car doesn't fuck around. So fucking aggravating. So thank you for the warnings about Hyundai. I don't know whether we can get any worse up here. Honestly,
yeah, well, we'll see. We are looking at getting an EV, which does cut down on the engine problems.
Yes. We're going full EV on this one.
Yeah. So it's gonna be our first. Fingers crossed. I do hear good things about about Hyundai EVs in particular.
Yeah, and it's the range on this one should be pretty good. So we'll see. Also, it's like we're getting this right in time for this incredible peace deal that'll lower the price of oil across the world. So now we're going to EV. Should have done it like 6 months ago. All right, Ashley, who is helping us fix the car today?
All right. Thank you to Professional Mechanics Tex 513 and Zebra. Thanks for fixing all our cars and for sponsoring this episode of our show at patreon.com/morningsomewhere and roosterteeth.com.
All right. If you yourself are low-key soccer, don't forget today is, we're interested in Scotland, Morocco, but the big USA-Australia match is today. From what I understand, USA has never won 2 World Cup matches in a row ever, and Australian fans are loving to talk about that. Ashley, who's going to be joining us and watching Scotland march to victory tonight?
All right, I want to say a shout out to Tex 513 and Zebra for wearing the cones of victory. And thank you for sponsoring this episode of our show, patreon.com/morningsomewhere and roosterteeth.com.
All right, that does it for us this week, ending June 19th, 2026. We will be back. Talk to you on Monday. We hope you will be here as well.
Bye, everybody.